Hey there, I'm Megan Andrew with Real Life Whole Foods. Food prep is something I do at the beginning of the week to make my life a lot easier on those busy nights where I'm trying to get dinner on the table. Even if I just spend about 30 minutes on a Sunday afternoon chopping or roasting, it makes my life a lot easier during the week, and I can have a few staples on hand to make quick and simple lunches or dinners. I hope this video will give you some ideas on how to prep for your week ahead, whether that's eating Whole30 or adding more clean, whole ingredients to your fridge this week. Thanks so much for watching. So I just want to show you what things I do at the beginning of my week to help make my life a little bit easier. The first thing that I do is prep the veggies that we eat on a daily basis. So that includes sweet potatoes. I love sweet potatoes so much. They are a great complex carbohydrate. When I get them home from the grocery store, I scrub them really, really well because they are going to be a bit dirty, just like any other potato. I use this little scrubby brush here. It fits on your finger and it makes it super easy to really clean those off. And then I store them in my pantry until I am ready to use them. I store them in a basket in my pantry. And then when I'm ready to get some sweet potatoes in my fridge, I will go ahead and peel them as I'm doing here. It's always great to have a bowl on the countertop. This is something I usually do on a Sunday evening, just roast my sweet potatoes. And you're probably wondering why in the heck I would have sweet potatoes roasted in my fridge. Well, sweet potatoes are a great alternative for toast in the morning. So if you don't want to eat wheat product, you want something a little bit less processed, maybe you still eat bread, but you just want to cut it out a lot of days out of your week. This is a great alternative. You can have sweet potato toasts, sweet or savory. Sweet is what I prefer, but I try to stay away from that, especially if you're doing Whole30 and you're trying to get away from sugars. It's a great idea to try the savory first. With savory, I would probably put some avocado and egg on top. It's really super good. You can also use them in a breakfast bowl. So I'm going to show you how I cut these and roast them. So after my sweet potatoes are washed and peeled, I will cut off the bottoms, and that's to make sure that I have a nice flat surface here so that my potato does not roll when I'm cutting the slices. When I first did Whole30, I cut my finger pretty badly, a really big gash, and I kind of learned my lesson. So I like to do kind of thicker slices. They're going to get thinner after they've been in the oven. So about ½ inch thick, but you can decide what you like. I find that this way I can roast them like this. I can cube them afterwards, and they still kind of hold up really well. So I'm going to grab my baking sheet. I put some foil on there. And usually I will do about 3 of these at a time. I've just done 2 today just to show you how quick and easy it is. And I'm going to take about a teaspoon of oil, and that's for 2 medium-sized sweet potatoes, maybe a little bit more, maybe a teaspoon and a half, just a little bit more. And then I'm going to use a dash of salt. And salt doesn't make them salty. It really just brings out the flavor because, again, I want you to be able to do what you want with these. If you want to put almond butter and banana on them or put them in a savory kind of breakfast bowl, whichever you prefer. You want to make sure you get all the sides coated with olive oil so that they don't stick, because the inherent sugars come out in the sweet potato as they cook, and they will stick to the aluminum foil. So there we go. All of those are covered and ready to go. I'm going to pop these into the oven at 400 degrees for 15 minutes, and then we're going to turn them over. Okay, next I have a pepper, and I love to have peppers on hand to have with my lunch or to saute with onions for taco night, for my breakfast bowls. There's so many great things you can do with peppers. The first thing that I do is I always cut rounds out of my peppers with the first 2 cuts because these make for really great eggs in the morning. You can saute these on either side in a pan with some olive oil or ghee, and then put an egg, crack an egg in the center, turn it over for an over easy egg, and it's absolutely delicious. You can eat that on a bed of spinach, and it makes an amazing breakfast or lunch or a quick dinner. So I usually have some red, some orange, and some yellow sweet bell peppers on hand. And again, I will saute these. Usually on Taco Tuesday night, I will saute a big amount of them. Just going to put these right in here to store in the fridge. I think I need a bigger container.
Lettuce is something that I always have in my fridge. I love this baby romaine lettuce. I usually clean and get ready 2 heads of lettuce at a time, just so I always have them in the fridge for lettuce wraps, for salads, for lettuce tacos, things like that. And lettuce is just great to have on hand and ready to go. It's so frustrating when you're ready to make lunch and you have to wash the lettuce. So this is always something I have on hand. Again, I really like this baby romaine because it's a little bit wider and easier to hold than the long, thin pieces of romaine. I use my OXO salad spinner here. So I wash it, then I spin it, then I wash it again and spin it again, just so I can make sure my lettuce is really nice and clean. I love my salad spinner. It gets my lettuce nice and dry. Then once my lettuce is out, I will take it out and arrange it from the largest to smallest pieces, because the largest pieces I'm going to use for things like my turkey wraps, lettuce wraps, things like that. And the smaller pieces will be usually cut up to use for salads or put on top of some kind of a bowl. So I will arrange them like that and then put them in my stasher bag. These stasher bags are like my favorite thing in my kitchen. I have the half-gallon size here. They are silicone bags and they keep food very fresh, and I'm using less plastic, which I really like. So you can check that out at the link in my video notes. I just love these bags, and we have them in every size.
Carrots are something else that we always have in the fridge. If I was eating them for myself, I would just give them a good scrub, but my daughter prefers to have them peeled so that you can't see the skin. But there's a lot of good stuff included in the skin of the carrot. I just choose my battles because if she's going to eat them, I'm going to prep them the way that she likes them. Don't be afraid of the carrots that look a little bit strange. There's nothing wrong with them. I usually buy a big bulk bag of carrots, and I have a big container ready to go in the fridge for school lunches, for my lunch at all times. And then I can use them in stir fries as well. Because they're already cut up, I'll just simply cut them one more time into a matchstick. And then I store them right in a glass dish. And I always put about a 1/4 inch of water in there because carrots do tend to dry out in the fridge. English cucumber is the next thing that I always have ready to go. We like to slice some of the skin off so that there's not so much skin. And it makes a little kind of star shape when you cut into it. So we love English cucumbers. I always buy organic for cucumbers because they are usually on the Dirty Dozen list. Just be sure that you check the latest Dirty Dozen because it does get updated every year. I love the crunch that cucumbers bring to anything, a salad or just on the side of your lunch. Oh, it's so crunchy and so sweet. I just love them. A glass dish here. And I usually always have one cut up and ready to go in the fridge. So Nature's Rancher No Sugar Added Uncured Bacon is Whole30 approved. It has the label on it. It has no nitrates or nitrites added. It is a great bacon. It tastes absolutely amazing. And I prep it at the beginning of my week. On most weeks we will have bacon. We will have it to top our breakfast bowls. We will have it in our lettuce and turkey wraps. You know, we just use it for a lot of different things. I like to do it this way in a broiler pan. So I lay it on top and then all of the fat goes underneath and then I just flip it. So I'll cook this in the oven, which keeps my stovetop really nice and clean, in the oven at 400 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes. Then I'll flip the pieces and do it for about 15 minutes more. So it really only takes about 30 minutes. I typically do it while I'm doing other things in the kitchen. Really easy to prep. And then I keep it in a glass dish in my fridge. And when I'm ready to just have one piece of bacon, like crumbled on my salad, then I will take it out, wrap it in a paper towel, put it in my microwave for 30 seconds, and I have a nice hot piece of bacon that's crispy and ready to go. So that's a great time saving and especially a way to save a lot of greasy cleanup. Okay, eggs are another staple, especially hard-boiled eggs. I make sure that I have at least 6 ready to go for the start of my week. These are great to have post-workout. They're great to have in the morning if you're in a rush. They're great as a snack. Hard-boiled eggs are a great way to go because they're full of protein. I usually have about 2 at a time if I'm having them for a meal, just 1 if I'm having them with a snack. Boneless, skinless chicken breasts are a staple for our household, and I like to prep them first by putting them into brine. So what I do is I usually take about a fistful of salt. I will put that in hot water and let that dissolve. Then I will put in cold water to keep the water cold when I add my chicken breasts. I will let that sit as long as overnight if I need to. And then I take out my chicken breasts and I will dry them with paper towels before putting them in a baking dish. So the brine water does not make your chicken salty. It really helps to keep moisture in the chicken as it cooks. So it really makes a beautiful, flavorful chicken breast once it's roasted. So I have 3 chicken breasts here. And what I will do is add some olive oil, probably about a teaspoon per breast. Those are my sweet potatoes, ready to be turned. Just gonna finish this off. Then I will do some salt. It's not gonna make it too salty, trust me. Some pepper. some garlic powder. I use a generous amount of garlic. And some paprika. Then I'll grab a fork, turn this over, and do the same to the other side. Not adding any extra oil because I have plenty on there. Just salt, pepper. Some garlic. And some paprika. And now these chicken breasts are ready to go in the oven at 450 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes. I usually check them at 25 minutes. I bring my chicken breasts up in the oven to 160, then cover them tightly with foil and let that temperature raise to 165 before letting them cool outside of the oven. So next I'm going to just take tongs and turn them over. You can see all those beautiful sugars coming out. I think I am going to only put these in for another 5 minutes because they're looking really nice and toasty on that side. They're beautiful. So 5 more minutes in the oven should do the trick on those. Lastly, I will make a dressing at the beginning of my week. I like to make my own dressing because there's no yucky things, added sugars in the dressing when I make it myself. I work on a 1-to-3 ratio, or about that. So I have 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar in here. And then I will add about 5 or 6, so 1-to-3, to see what you like better. I really like my dressing to be a little bit more tangy. And then I will add just about a 1/4 teaspoon of oregano, a dash of salt, and a dash of pepper. I'm making dressing. And then I will shake it up in my little shaker, which is also great for pouring because the lid comes off and you can just pour it onto your salad. This dressing is also great as a marinade if you want to grill or roast vegetables. So it's great to have on hand for roasting, for your salads. Okay, so I just pulled my sweet potato out of the oven and it looks amazing. This is going to help me so much in our easy breakfast. Next week I'm going to show you guys 3 different ways that I use this sweet potato. These pieces right here are really great for post-workout snacks. Sweet potatoes are great post-workout food, but I'll talk to you guys about that next week and show you how I use it for my breakfast. Thanks so much for watching as I prep my fridge for the week ahead, eating clean, whole foods that are Whole30 compliant. And I hope I've given you some ideas on how to incorporate some of these foods into your fridge this week. Later on, I'll be sharing how I use those sweet potatoes and roasted chicken to create quick and easy breakfasts and lunches. Be sure to follow me on Instagram so you can see what I'm eating throughout the week. You can find me at real_life_whole foods.